God bless y'all today. I just want to come on here and let you know about the weapons of our warfare, okay? The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are spiritual battles that we deal with, right? Therefore, we have to put on the whole armor of God. And if you don't know what the whole armor of God is, look it up, okay? You can Google that, okay? So when people come up against you and you begin to find the fault in people, places, things, situations, outcomes, whatever have you, I want you to be encouraged that it is not the people. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. And it's simply the enemy that is operating through them. The person has a window where sin comes in, right? And the enemy is able to use that person, and it can be the very person the closest to you. It can be the very person, your best friend, whoever it is, your boss. So when they come up against you and when situations happen, especially if you're going after something, be encouraged that God is the one who has the final say so, right? So why are you getting worked up when God already said that the answer was yay and amen in him, right? You don't have to worry, fret, blame anybody or anything for your situation, because it's simply not the person. It's not the person at all. So don't even look at the people no more. From here on out, just forgive them, for they know not what they do. The battle is the Lord's, right? It's the enemy. He know his time is up. So he's running rampant right now. And that means if he's running rampant, you have to run rampant with your spiritual faith, okay? You have to run rampant with the whole armor of God. You ain't got time to sit around and woe is me. No, get up quickly. The bikes was coming through here. Sorry about that, y'all. But get up from that place of distress, doubt, unbelief, and get into your weapons of warfare, okay? Because it's a spiritual battle that you're up against, and the enemy do not want you to have the promises of God. See, the whole overall goal of the enemy is to get you to not believe God and strike up against him and say, you know, he wants you to be like Lot's wife. Don't be Lot's wife in this season. Be Lot, okay? Because at the end of the day, Lot kept his faith no matter what happened. And when his wife came up against God and said, curse God and die, that's what the enemy wants you to do. He wants you to curse God and die. But you are better than that. You are built stronger than that. And if you're not at that place yet, then baby, it's time for you to transition from the milk to the meat of the word, because God he's swiftly moving in this hour, and so is the devil. But God is greater than the devil. So you have to know that if the enemy is moving fast, God is moving just as fast or faster, right? God is moving faster. So when the enemy try to come up against you, it don't matter who he's using. If he's using your best friend, your cousins, your sisters, your brothers, whoever he's using in your life as an enemy, it is not the person, for they know not what they do. They are simply being used by the enemy as a vessel for his kingdom, and probably because they have a window open with sin in their life. So of course they can be used by the enemy's kingdom, because they have sin in their life, right? And you may not know what the sin is. You may not know. You know, it's a lot of people out here that carry sin that we don't see, such as jealousy, such as envy, such as hatred. It's so many things that can get you to hate people, whether, especially now, it could be a racial hate. It can be a class hate. It can be so many things that people secretly hate people for. And I can tell you one thing where the devil really got into people with hate, so many people, was with the presidential election. The enemy got up in so many people that had windows open with sin in their life, that they had hatred in their heart that they don't even know is there. And they spew out negative things and ungodly things about particular candidates, or one being lesser evil than the other. Well, evil is evil. But people don't even realize what they are saying, or that they're even being used, because the enemy don't care. The enemy wants it to be that way. He don't want people that he's using, the vessels that he's using, to open their eyes and awaken and say, I'm being used by the enemy. But it's time to be used by God, because guess what? Those are opportunities that you have to make a different decision in your life. So if there's any hatred or envy or jealousy or anything, fear in your life, you got to close that window. Because that is how the devil creeps into your mind to deceive you, right? You got to stand on the promises of God. You got to operate in your full armor of God, because, baby, I'm telling you, the enemy ain't playing. But the thing about it is, he's so dull and shallow in what he does and brings to you that it's easy to spot. But you have to be in God in order to spot it. You know what I mean? He comes with like the craziest things. And he reminds me of when I used to tell people, like, do you really think I'm that stupid? People really did think I was that stupid. Why? Because when people do stuff to you that you feel like that was stupid, why would you do that to me? You playing me for dumb. They really are, because those are the things and tricks that would get them. So of course they're going to play you for it, because they would be deceived by the same thing. Don't be mad at the people in this hour. Be mad at the enemy, because the enemy is trying to stop you from your blessings. The enemy is trying to stop you from your promise of God, because the devil knows, the enemy knows, once you operate in your greatest potential, in your purpose, walking in your purpose, he ain't got a chance. It's over. He's losing people out of his kingdom, and he's mad right now. So he'll use every tactic that he can to try to come up against you. But you have to walk into the full armor of God in order to stand up against the enemy in this hour. And you have to do it quickly. You cannot lay and cry in your sorrows, no matter what it is. You got to get up, and you got to quickly come up against him. Stand up against him. Speak God's word against him. And you would guarantee come out to be the victor and not the victim. Okay? No matter who plays the victim, once they come up against you, you are truly the victor. Okay? They are a victim, yes, because they are a victim of the enemy. Because the enemy, they allow the enemy to use them. And see, a lot of times with the enemies that's in our lives, we don't realize what those enemies are. So once you begin to realize what those enemies are, now it's up to you to come up against those enemies. Fast, pray, come up against those things that's in your heart that shouldn't even be there. Because those enemies will dwell and fester and grow. And it'll come to the point where it's deceiving you, because you don't even recognize his tactics no more. Wake up, children of God. Move fast in this hour and get to the work of the Lord. And I promise you, he will bless you every single step of the way. He has you. He will give you direction. He's not going to give you the whole plan. Now, don't get it twisted. God is not about to give you the whole plan of the operation on what he about to do, because you know why? We even say that don't let the left hand know what your right hand doing. You get what I'm saying? So he not going to tell you all his secrets, because we have a problem as people. We're running our mouth too much. We can hear something from God and we'll hurry up and get on the phone with our bestie. We can hear something from God and now we want to get on the phone with our spiritual leaders. And this is when we're supposed to be quiet. Shh. This is when you're supposed to be quiet in that season. But you running your mouth telling the secrets of God, but yet you say, oh, I could keep a secret. I don't tell secrets from my best friend. Well, why are you telling God secrets to the enemy? Once you put it out there in the atmosphere to people, the enemy has a doorway to know what he can block. If he don't know, if he don't know what to block, how he gonna block it? You know, it's simply because of us, ourselves. The enemy within us that we need to work on. Get to the root of things. Get to the root of your situation. Figure out what is plaguing your heart and get it out. Ask God to remove it, because that is what's keeping you back from your blessings. You battling the enemy within and you battling the enemy without. So put on the full armor of God, y'all. I know that is stressful to try to wait on the promises of God and the blessings of God, but what God is trying to do is to prune you. He's trying to separate the wheat from the chaff in this hour. And if you're allowing God to use you, then you need to be pruned. Your heart needs to be pruned of all the weeds that are in there that don't belong, so that the beautifulness of it can come out and grow. Okay? So begin to work on you, the enemy within, the root of your situations, whatever it is, fear. If it come back to childhood traumas, you need to work on that, because that's going to heal you. I know for a fact that a lot of the fear that I had within me came from childhood trauma. And it wasn't to say it was done maliciously. It wasn't. But, you know, the first time that my family can remember me having fear was when I was about 2 years old. And they bought me a toy dog. But the dog was walking and barking and wagging his tail, right? And when the dog began to do that, I got scared and I tried to stump the dog. Now, mind you, we had a real dog at the same time that was way bigger. It was a German Shepherd. I wasn't afraid of that dog. But when I seen this little toy dog making that noise and moving towards me, I got scared and I tried to stump that dog with them little white shoes you used to wear when you learn how to walk. Because I had to be about 1 year old probably. But I tried to stump the dog with that. And that's where fear began in me. The enemy came in at that moment and instilled fear in me. Not so much for the dog, but just the fear overall. The fear was, and it started festering in different areas of my life. Fear. So you have to address those childhood traumas, and you got to ask God to get it up out your heart, remove it. You know, go to God and ask him, spend time in your word. Go to God and say, listen, Lord, I need help getting this out of me. I can't do this alone. I haven't been able to. I need you to do it. And he will give you the direction that you need to take. And it's probably going to be fasting and praying. That's how you get rid of a lot of these demons that you're dealing with, that you're battling with. And it's about changing your perspective when people come up against you. It's not so much about what the people do. It's about your perspective towards how the people do what they do. How do you perceive what's going on? Do you perceive it to be the person, or do you perceive it to be the enemy that is operating at this time that's trying to keep you from your blessing? And now you're like, hold on, Lord, where do I have an open window at that's stopping me from getting to my blessing? Okay, so get to your blessing, y'all. That's all I want to say, because you're frustrating your own self and you're building up more doubt in yourself against God. One, because a lot of times too is that procrastination settles. And when you allow procrastination to enter your life, but you're still waiting on God, God is not going to bring you nothing if you're not doing no movement. He going to give you step by step. He going to tell you step one. And until you do step one, he's not going to tell you step two. So it's up to you to get rid of the spirit of procrastination, that lazy spirit that's upon your life, in order so that you can build up faith in God and build up faith in yourself, because to be able to do things, because you don't believe in yourself, because you're not getting up doing it. Get up, get to work, do what you got to do, and build up the faith in God, and build up the faith and trust back into yourself that, hey, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Okay. And I really want to say this because too, I've seen how a lot of people are waiting on marriage, right? And while they're waiting on marriage, I was watching this lady. I can't think of her name. I think her name is B. Sims or something. And a lot of people that were waiting and watching her videos and listening to her giving direction on what to do to get prepared for the kingdom spouse. She came out, the last video I saw, she came out and she asked people, hey, have y'all been preparing? And so many people said no. Jesus. So many people said no, they had not done anything to prepare. Like they hadn't even cleaned their own house. They hadn't cleaned up their heart. But they waiting on this kingdom spouse to come. And you wonder why it could take 2, 3, 5 years. You're keeping yourself from your own blessing by not addressing the enemy within. Get busy, y'all. Move. God is moving swiftly in this hour. He's not playing. When he gives you direction, he wants it done right away. He don't want you to say, okay, I'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow, you know that song, I give my life tomorrow. You know, you got to give your life today because tomorrow's not promised. And you'll be sitting up waiting 5, 10 years. You'll be the old lady, old man with a bunch of cats because you haven't done what you were supposed to do in order to get your kingdom spouse or whatever have you that you waiting on that God needs to come and bring. You're going to still be stuck in them projects. You still going to be stuck in them low income housing. You still going to be stuck in the hood. You still going to be stuck at that same job. You're not going to get a big start your own business or get a big raise on your job because you're not putting in the work. Put in the work. Stop trying to blame other people for what you got going on. If y'all see my braid, it's just my braid came out. My braid came out, so it's just hanging back there or whatever, but whatever. I gotta fix it. But start getting busy. Start getting busy. Whatever he tell you to do. It could be something as simple as changing your hair. Like I had to do. I had to change my hair. But it could be something simple. Oh, go wash them clothes today. What if your kingdom spouse shows up today? Are you ready? If he knocked on your door, is your house clean? Are you clean? Have you did what you were supposed to do for the day just for your own home? Are you organized? So if he walk in, what is he going to see? What is he going to smell? Y'all, address the enemy within. Stop worrying about the enemy that's outside and your friends, your uncles, your cousins, your sisters, your brothers, whoever, aunties, mamas, daddies. Stop worrying about them enemies that they have, that they're dealing with, that's on their back, and start looking at the enemy within and change your perspective. Ask God to change your perspective on things because everything is mental. So it's all about how you view a thing with your mind that's going to determine your outcome. Until next time, y'all, I hope that you really take this message and do something with it because we can sit up and talk about other people. Oh man, she ain't do nothing. She wasn't preparing. God said keep that light lit. He said keep that lantern lit. Be ready. You know, T.D. Jakes used to always say that. Be ready, be ready, be ready. So you ain't got to get ready, right? Get ready now for whatever it is that you want God to do. If it's your business, if it's a car, if it's a home, you're gonna still ride around in that beater. You're gonna still, if God told you to fix your credit and you ain't fixed your credit, you're gonna still be in the same complacent place. Whether it's you want a new home, a new car, a new job, God ain't gonna let you move until you take the next step. He's not gonna tell you the next step to do until you do the step that he already told you. Some other enemies that we may deal with within is lack of patience, disobedience, because we like to control things, you know, and God is like, I'm the one in control. And negative talking all the time. Stop negative talking about yourself. If you don't have nothing good to say about yourself, just don't say nothing at all, you know, because it's going up against what you're believing God to give you when you talk negative all the time. So until next time, y'all, be blessed. I love you. Let's grow.